just below Stony Pass here, and today we're going to be hiking segment 24 of the Colorado Trail. For a full trail guide of segment 24 of the Colorado Trail, you can check the links in the description below. Segment 24 starts here on a 4x4 road just outside of Silverton, about 10 miles away. We have been hiking now for about 34 miles for those other two segments, and we'll be continuing today on segment 24. Segment 24 is going to end you at Molas Pass. There is a nice resupply point there at the campground and showers as well. We can talk about that later though. For now, you got 20 miles of hiking ahead of you and about 3,500 feet of gain. So let's get after it.
Another beautiful day on the Colorado Trail.
Weather has been shit for us all day. Looks like it's finally maybe trying to clear out here. That would be awesome. Starting this segment off with some nice gentle rollers, and then eventually you're going to have a pretty significant drop. So a lot of your elevation comes in kind of easier batches, and then at the end you're going to have a big climb of Aria framing the scene for you all. So basically switch back up here, another climb. It's really a bummer the weather is what it is today, because there are some awesome views to be had right now, but instead all we get is a all too similar look at clouds and fog surrounding everything that's high around us. About 5 miles in, he'll pass a series of small little ponds here, and eventually our goal is to head up to the Continental Divide up here, take a left, and then we descend for quite a bit, like something like a steady descent for 6 to 8 miles or so. As you can see, there's been maybe glimpses of the views down here that I've tried to show you, but otherwise we've been in a cloud. Pretty big moment right here. The left side of my screen is the Continental Divide Trail, the right side the Colorado Trail. For the past hundreds of miles you have been following the Continental Divide Trail, or sharing trail with it, however you want to phrase it, and for the first time since some of the very early segments, you are now back on dedicated solo Colorado Trail hiking. As you can kind of tell, maybe there is no trail here. It's pretty much a well kind of established social trail, and I guess I'm kind of surprised because of how many people do the Colorado Trail every year, and this really seems kind of like a 13er that, you know, 100 people do a year versus a very well traveled through hike of the state. Come back to that section that split off from the CDT, and Jackie's kind of working up it. Really, I mean, zero evidence of a trail here. Just got a second of sunshine or views, but wow. Not really sure what we did to deserve this, but just as we are leaving this high point here, the clouds have cleared. We are finally seeing what people say are the best views of the entire Colorado Trail, and while it is still raining a little bit, and over here is still a little cloudy, although not as much as when I last showed here, I mean, unreal. with these banana land views to your right. You're gonna just follow these two tracks up a bit more until you descend deep down into the Animas River. This is one of those times where I could show you this as slow or high quality or whatever, but you just have to be here to appreciate how insane, coming from the most jaded fuck on the planet, these views are. Literally in every single direction. It's unbelievable. You're gonna reach this trail junction right here, and then you're gonna drop down way down eventually. Just like that, the view is gone, but you can still see the million of switchbacks. Now you can't, but down, and there's an old mining building around 7 miles in as well. I could confidently say that we got lucky, obviously, with the views and the clouds and everything, but if you don't like through hiking, if you don't even like backpacking that much, this segment and the last two, so 22, 23, 24, are absolutely worth your time as day trips, out and backs, trail run, whatever. But this is some of the most beautiful land I've seen in my life. This is why I love the San Juans, because they just continue to blow my mind every time I explore new corners of them. And what's so awesome is this is really a trail through some of the most remote sections of the San Juans that are really tough to get to otherwise. It's why you can't really drive to a trailhead. You have to hike these segments together. Really, I think it's worth every single step. This is pretty cool, a little side detour. Usually I wouldn't recommend going in the cave, but this one's so short and it's obviously walled off as well. Maybe some quartz up here? Really cool. Back to the trail. Weather has turned, spirits are up, tent dried out, made a nice little pit stop and had some snacks and lunch, dried out all our stuff. Man, it's crazy how little things like the sun will make you feel so much better on long backpacking trips. Having a dry shelter tonight is everything. Still working down the big decline from the top of like mile 6.5 or so. If you thought your legs were tired from the climbing you've had so far, wait till you start hammering your quads and knees and everything else, descending like 6,000 feet. It's brutal. So we're aiming to camp somewhere near the 11.5 mile marker, which apparently there is campsites there. In general, I would say the campsites along this descent are just going to get much better the lower you can get. Right around mile 10, this is the second of the 2 stream crossings mentioned in the CT book. This one obviously a little bit more difficult for us this time of year, so I might pop the shoes off for this. Camp for the night right at the Beaver Ponds here. The book says 11.6 miles. We had closer to like 12.25. In either case, you got some cool views of Arrow Peak and then Vestal just poking out. Awesome campsite. We will see you guys in the morning to wrap up segment 24. Spent last night with this as our beautiful backdrop. Today we have just about 7-8 miles left in segment 24 of the Colorado Trail. Obviously, if you're going up to Molas Pass itself, you have a bit extra, but since we parked a bit below, we'll be tacking on those miles next time on segment 25. The theme of the day, so after you pass these ponds, basically what you're going to be doing is making a big descent all the way down to the Animas River and then climbing right back up to Molas Pass. Got a little bit of a trickier kind of, not crossing, but I don't know, crossing of the Elk Creek here. Beautiful Elk Creek. Jackie navigating it with ease. Down on the train tracks now, just about mile 15 or so, so another 5 to go to end the segment. And from here, you're gonna follow the train tracks for a bit. If you can, stop and enjoy the amazing views of the Wemanoosh, however you pronounce it, wilderness area around you. That's right behind you. We just left it actually, so I can fly. And if you're lucky enough to see the Silverton Durango train, it's a really cool sight as well. Kind of quick note on that, you can get dropped off at a number of different spots here, so if you ever want to come back and do Chicago Basin, which is a super popular area, or even Elk Creek again, to do a bunch of the mountains up there, a lot more accessible. Otherwise, from this point out, you can kind of take a look at your next section, which is a big climb up towards Molas Pass, about 2,000 feet or so, and that'll be the end of segment 24 of the Colorado Trail. This segment is absolutely breathtaking, and one that I would come back here in a heartbeat to explore other objectives. And if you don't even like backpacking, this is 1000% worth it. We can tell we're getting close to the end of the first climb here, running into a lot more day hikers, people starting their own backpacking trips. And yeah, this is a pretty tough climb. No super steep sections, but just relentless switchbacks. And then you do have another one after this flattens out to get to the top of Molas Pass. Whew, all right, climb behind us. Molas Pass, the end of the segment, right up there. It's not as close as it looks. There's a bunch of switchbacks and stuff. Off to your right, kind of out of sight here, is a fantastic spot to take a shower, to have a real campground if you want to pay, I think it's like 40 bucks as of 2022 to resupply. There's a little camp store in there. Obviously these are all applicable only for thru hikers, unless you're just really fiending for num-nums after your segment here. But this is a great point to end because you have your car access, which is super easy. Segment hiking here, you're gonna park your car at the Molas Lake trailhead, which is a little bit past the campground. I'll show you that before we wrap this video up here. This segment is so tough because when I make this video, obviously I have to make a cover photo. And with segment 24 of the Colorado Trail, I could choose that high point where you have panoramic 360-degree views. I could choose the Vestal Arrow Beaver Ponds area. I could choose the beautiful wildflowers that cover everywhere. I could choose the Wemanoosh wilderness, and I could choose that Garfield Peak backdrop with the Animas River. You get my point, where every single portion of this trail could be its own little video, its own memory. It's just unbelievable down here. For those of you who don't like backpacking, who don't like camping, who don't like thru hiking, like, this is a trip you need to do. It is absolutely beautiful. I've been jaded enough to see so many parts of Colorado, and this trip was just phenomenal. Like, it blew my mind. It makes me hungry to get back down in the San Juans and explore more. So I really truly hope that you can get out here one day and see this for yourself. After enjoying the waterfall, you're slowly climbing back up to Molas Pass. You can kind of see it in front of you. The waterfall is only about 50 feet, 100 feet off the trail. Definitely worth checking out. And then you just finished a little climb, have another little one before the lake, and then another quite bigger one before the end of the segment. If you need to resupply, shower, whatever, this is the right for the campground to keep going straight for us. And this is still segment hiking applicable. If you're through hiking, just stay left at all these junctions and follow the trail. But there is a sign conveniently located after the turn. If you were segment hiking and leaving a car at the end, your car is literally right there. Hooray! If not, you have about 100 miles left in the trail, 80 whatever, and you're going to continue up to Molas Pass to end segment 24 of the Colorado Trail. With this, we're going to wrap up segment 24 of the Colorado Trail. I know this is just for 24, but a lot of people do 22, 23, 24 together. Every one of them are A+. Every one of them are worthy trips on their own. This segment is stunning. If there was a negative, perhaps lack of camping at times, but plentiful water. The views in every single direction are just A+. We're gonna drink a beer at 10:30 in the morning to celebrate and get some warm food down in Durango. For a full trail guide of segment 24 of the Colorado Trail, you can check the link below, which goes to my website. As always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sticking along with me over these last 3 days. For those of you who have, if you want to watch more Colorado Trail, check out the playlist linked below. We have every segment, and we will have every segment, including Collegian Peaks East eventually. On behalf of Jackie, Aria, who was such a good girl on this trip, and myself, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys on the next adventure. Okay.